magic holds an important place in Balinese life. Whilst the root of this reality is found in their Hindu-Animistic religion, Balinese Animism, the worship of spirits of nature and ancestors, has changed little, even to the present day. Hinduism swept across the Indonesian archipelago in the 1st century and blended with this animism. However, the influence of the Majapahit Shaivistic beliefs and magic are also much in evidence. Thus there is much resonance with the Kejawen that I'm familiar with, but also enough difference to make Bali intriguing to the Javanese. Often these differences are related to calendars and deities, but are nothing like as strong as outsiders would have you believe. Today in Bali they still fervently worship the spirits of mountain, sea and forests, and there persists a genuine belief in evil and good spirits, which lead to a preoccupation with magic, both black and white. The Balinese believe everyone has the capacity for good or evil, black or white magic, and that everyone accumulates spiritual energy called Shakti. And when a person's heart is pure, their Shakti helps to withstand evil influences. Some people have a greater capacity for Shakti and become priests or Balian shaman, whilst those with dark hearts use Shakti for harm. The universal belief in the influence of Shakti leads directly to the Balinese preoccupation with ritual cleansing, offerings, amulets, ceremonies and ritual atonements. People who are gifted with the power to perform magic are called Balian. They must be careful who they choose to inherit their power, usually within their family ties, and choose ones that must bear the responsibility. They use meditation, rituals and traditional medicinal plants. Some study ancient scriptures. Others are blessed with Vayu, divine inspiration. They can mediate between living and the dead. They use religious rituals, meditation to bring about peace and cleansing. Balians know about auspicious dates for many activities. For example, if a person wants to build a house, they ask the Balian which date they can start building. Balians don't get paid by the Balinese. The Balinese fear and respect what they believe because it is essential for the Balinese that there is always a balance for everything. In Bali, everything has its place, and in order to have harmony between the two worlds, the borders must be clear. So before the construction of a religious ceremony must be made to relocate the spirits before construction begins. However, with the development that Bali, the spirits are dislocated and compressed into smaller spaces. This creates an imbalance in the supernatural world. The human takes the environment of the spirits, especially rivers and forests, that are their roads and houses. More and more villas, houses are built that often have no altars or offerings, and this is a problem. The spirits of the river are disturbed because they are without their homes. The Leyak is one of the teachings of Balinese mysticism and synonymous with Balinese magic. The Leyak is made to help people, but it may be used by some to hurt people. Although the Leyak may also mean witch, thus there is belief that those who practice magic become Leyak. In Bali there is Leyak of white magic and of black magic Leyak. But people who practice black magic Leyak will suffer greatly through 1,000 reincarnations. The Leyaks like to disturb children, to roam the night, and at times they also fight each other, not because of conflict, but just to prove their strength. At night in the sky it's said to be able to see the fight between the Leyak as fragments of fire like a shooting star. The Leyak thus loses the fight, will become ill for a long time, or will die from a hemorrhage. The most sensitive people to recognise a Leyak are babies, who will start crying if they pass nearby. Babies are very at risk of Leyak attacks, especially before their 3rd months. That's why the Balinese often place a piece of shallot on the forehead. The clear smell will help keep the negative forces away from the baby. And do you know, as a child, my parents used to dangle a raw onion from off my bedstead. I'd only just thought of that. The practice of the Leyak is very badly perceived because many do not realise there's actually a kind of science that fell into the wrong hands. It becomes dangerous because at the base it's not the purpose of the Leyak. Thus Leyak is feared by the Balinese. It can change his appearance to be a human and is transformed only in the evening. It can transform to a bird, a monkey, a body with a head and its organs that go out, a rangda, etc. The physical body of the Leyak remains in bed. Rangda, the witch queen, is the embodiment of evil. Rangda may be controlled and defeated. This is portrayed in the famous dance. When playing Rangda, inevitably enters a low trance level for authenticity and protection. The performer characterises Barong, the creature of good who defeats Rangda, will enter a minor trance during the dance as well. Some Balinese who linger around midnight say that they've already met with what they think is a Leyak, floating in the air and fun to scare. At night, the Leyak goes to the cemeteries to search for buried human organs to use in making magical potions. It is thanks to these that he may shapeshift. It's even said that it's necessary for the Leyak to take organs from living people, or even to look for pregnant women to drink the blood of babies who are in the room in order to regenerate his powers. The most common form of Leyak is with a long tongue and sharp teeth. Some say that the magic of the Leyak only works in Bali, and that the demon can only be found here. It's also said that one who manages to kill the Leyak, the human body of this ghost will die in the bed without injury or apparent illness, and some will interpret these signs to conclude that the dead person was a Leyak in his life. The Leyak attacks members of his family, because to attack people outside of this requires a very advanced knowledge. This has resonance with how my Dukan brother-in-law targets his own family and their spouses, myself included. The Tanya are the spirits that inhabit rivers and ravines. It's said that they're very active during the day when they take on a human appearance in the villages. They look like humans except they have no recess between the nostrils and the upper lip. There are also the Memdi, red-haired humanoids. Some believe them to be ghosts who live in tall, big trees and bamboo groves near the villages. It's also said that they steal children when the sun goes down, although only often for 2 hours. The child can remember a party with food. They eat food and bring some home, but when they come back, the food is stone or something else like a monkey's head or carcass. The parents used to threaten the children with the Memdi would take if they behaved badly. The Toil are spirits of mischievous children, like the Gumanthong of Thailand. It's said that there are people sent them to break into houses or shops to steal money. In fact, it's not said, it's true, for goodness sake. That's why, often when Balinese keep money aside, they put a small mirror on this money, so that if they come to rob us, he will see his reflection and believe that their reflection is their friend, and will play with his reflection, have fun, dance, etc., and forget about stealing the money. The Dete or the Moro can take on the appearance of real and mystical animals, and before entering, a weird smell emerges. Other forms of black magic creatures are Cheluk and Rangrun. Cheluk is the most benign, although it has big teeth and is bald on its front head. It scares people with its eerie laugh, but cannot harm others. Rarung, however, can kill a victim using just one look, while Rangda is the leader of the evil witches. Some equate this with Leyak, fighting against Barong and the army of good. Barong is the panther-like creature loved by the Balinese people. He is the god king of the spirits. He is the enemy of the Rangda, the demon spirit queen. Ogu Ogu are statues built by men in temples for a parade on the night before Nyepi. They can take months to build and can be up to 6 meters high. Ogu Ogu normally take the form of mythical beings, mostly demons, and can be quite scary to see. The Ogu Ogu parade is to vanquish negative elements and create balance with God, mankind, and nature. Pengasiasi is a magic used to get someone who we love, but he or she does not have the same feelings. A loving compassion is a black magic used to conquer the heart of the loved one. It's used through different objects, a bewitched ring, belt, etc. However, it will have no effect on someone who has great faith. Chetik poisons a person via black magic. Chetik is intoxicated food that can only be seen by the 6 senses, although may also be in drink and clothing. That is why personal items are kept hidden by the Balinese, and there is a ritual of praying and offering food from their plate to the deity before they start eating to neutralise any evil intentions. The science of dark magic is controlled with the spirit and can attack the victim in general when there is a party. The person targeted by this dark magic may not be hurt if they have faith or their soul is not in disarray. There are 2 kinds of Chetik, the one with immediate effect and the one with effect on the long term, about 6 months. In order to avoid being a victim of Chetik, during feasts Balinese typically put salt on the food. Salt is supposed to neutralise Chetik. Throw some food or drink on the ground so that the food contaminate will cause the Chetik to lose its strength when it touches the ground, or to pray to the god Genjo. A similar practice I have witnessed in Voodoo and Santeria. Hexes come in the form of illness and but to be cured one must seek a Balian to counter them and protect the victim with prayers and mantras. When someone is convinced that they're a victim of dark magic, they will see Balians to obtain an amulet, a mantra, or magic prayer, a ring or other magic object to protect ourselves from the intrusions of evil influences. Another alternative is to go to the Pura Dalem temple near the cemetery and dedicate it to Shiva, to meditate all night and to have the strength to fight black magic, but often this alternative fails. It is often, and especially in remote villages, that black magic is said to be the cause of certain situations. For couples who cannot have children, sick people who cannot be cured, or people who died in questionable abnormal conditions, or simply the mentally ill. When suspicious death, a Balian can conduct a ceremony and know through his powers and the spirit of the deceased who is the culprit of the death. The Balinese also say that to be a victim of black magic, you have to believe in black magic. Despite being cremated, the dead are often stored in cemetery until the relatives have saved enough money for the funeral. Statues with sarong have a spirit to protect the local people, temples and people, local area temples and people. They are like a spirit security guard. They're everywhere in Bali, and Balinese people make offerings every day to keep the spirits happy. Sometimes ghosts, Leyak, are sent by jealous people to harm someone with black magic. The ghost has to ask the statue spirit for permission to harm the person in the area. Harm might be disease or death to the person or family member. If the person is a bad person and doesn't do ceremonies, then the statue spirit will say yes, and the ghost can harm them. If the person is a good person who does ceremonies, the statue spirit will say no to the ghost. Then only the strongest Leyak can still harm the person. The statue spirit can't stop them. In Bali, the placenta is considered as the sibling of the baby and protects the baby for life, so it must be treated with respect. The placenta must be buried near the family home, often with a kris. If the placenta is in a crooked position, it may affect the baby. The baby's head might be crooked. When there are ceremonies for the baby, they are held in the village near the placenta for the baby. The mother and the baby must stay inside for 42 days. If they don't, the spirits might be angry and hurt the baby or mum. Death and cremation ceremonies vary across Bali. In the city, they bury people and then dig them up to cremate them later. It can be many years. As cremation is expensive, often poorer people are dug up and cremated when there is a cremation for a rich person. Balinese believe reincarnation happens until the person is a very good person in life. They then go to God and don't come back. There are different levels of reincarnation. If a person is good, they come back as a human. If they're bad, they come back as an animal. If they're very bad, they come back as a plant. The Balinese know that when a relative comes back, as we can see similarities, physical or personality, in a young person. When the name of the town Sanur is mentioned, locals are often concerned because this town is known as the home of black magic. There were rumours that there was a war between the masters of black magic of Sanur and those of the village of Kamasan in Klungkung. Two witches used to live in Sanur who had legendary shape-shifting powers. Every Balinese must, at least once in his life, make a pilgrimage to the island of Nusa Pendina and visit a specific temple, the Pura de Lam Penatran Pede, whose energy provides a negative balance to the divine positive energy. The temple has a sanctuary, a source of power for those who practice black magic, and a place of pilgrimage for those seeking to protect themselves from evil and sickness. Pendida was a long time ago inhabited by demons, evil spirits. One of the most feared in local mythology, Jerogede Manchaling, the king of the demons who inspired the dance Borong Langdung. The demon from the village of Bantuan, Bali, was exiled to Nusa Pendina because he was accused of being responsible for diseases and disasters. It's said that he always comes to Bali to do damage. Every day, usually women make hand offerings, called Chanangsari, for the deity and spirits. The offerings consist of various things, with meaningful placement of flowers and incense. Some offerings for the spirits may include cigarettes, candies or coffee to keep the spirits happy. Spirits and demons live in old and large trees. They be baby spirits of deceased relatives. The base of these large spirit trees are often wrapped in black and white cloth. Ceremonies for tree spirits to make spirits happy and not annoy anyone. Some people in the village may have a special relationship with a spirit in the tree and communicate with them. Often Balinese honk 2 times when they drive past and show respect to keep the bad spirits away. If someone damages a spirit tree, for example cuts a branch, then the tree spirit gets angry. Often they or someone in the family will get ill or die.